review, and as well as going through the original text, as well as uh, there must be continuous search for the journals and books, original sources, as well as secondary sources, and then he can make a research problem, and then he can make a hypothesis. There must be present solution of the research problems in his mind, and then he can continue for the making the solutions of the those research problems in his mind. And through his research methods, so what are the research methods? We are just going to start that in the humanities and social science, especially in the field of language and literature, what are the methodology which we are going to adopt. And through this making research methodology, we can make a strategy that how we can collect the data related with our subject, as well as how we can make analysis of those materials which are collected through the libraries or through the manuscripts or through other sources. We will discuss that what are the sources of literature review in a separate class. That what is the literature review we will discuss, but in a brief manner. We are discussing hypothesis is the parikalpana or anuman in Sanskrit, and we can make a hypothesis that how the problem of research topic can be solved through the research methods. And then there must be checking of the or testing of the that what are the research problems and the solutions which were taken in the beginning of the research problem, whether this validity is tested or not. And then there must be critical analysis and critical interpretations of the concepts of the topic of that. And then a research scholar must write the chapters after collecting the research materials, and then he can arrange all those materials, whatever it has been designed in the research problems, research proposals in the beginning of the this. And before submission of the thesis, a research scholar is also supposed to submit two research papers published in to be published in the any referred journals or peer-reviewed journals. And in all, from the literature review till the submission of the thesis, there must be ethics related with the. There must not be any cast and paste, and there the thoughts and the ideas which have been taken from any sources, whether it is secondary sources or ideas of any persons, it must be referenced. So there are some of the softwares which are testing the plagiarism test. So nowadays universities are adopting those software before the submission of the thesis. So the ethics related with the collecting of the research materials, as well as our literature review, writing or critical interpretations, ethics must be followed. So we are going to discuss all these things in our. So now there is a process how a research scholar should start his writing research proposals, how he can go through the literature related with his topic. So this is the research process. It can be defined that it is a systematic linear process with a few parallel activities alongside. So there must be scientific investigations related with our all the activities in writing as well as in critical. We have already seen that what is the research? Research is a scientific investigations again and again based upon the materials which are available to us. So this there is a continuous process from the time of the literature review till the submission of the thesis. There must be systematic linear process, and there must be activities related with the attending the seminars, conferences, symposiums, and other things. These are some of the activities of the research scholars which can be done along with the collecting of the research materials as well as writing critically or interpreting the concepts in a scientific manner. There must be transparent. Transparent means that one must, whatever he is going to write a research paper or whatever he is going to write the chapters of the dissertations or the thesis, it must be referenced by original sources as well as secondary sources. There must not be any abrupt statement. It must be cited. Research is not giving your thoughts and ideas. You can analyze the things in a critical manner or scientific manner, but there must not be any abrupt statement which is coming in your mind. So there must be references of all the statements what you are writing. It is confined to the study of well-defined problems. We have discussed that for arising of the research problems, you must go through the literature related with your topic, whether it is available in the Pali literature, Sanskrit Buddhist literature, Tibetan Buddhist literature, so it is confined to the study of well-defined problems. So for research problems, there must be continuous literature review until unless you do not go through the literature related with your subject. What are the research problems which has been written or solved by our previous session? The thoughts cannot arise in our mind. So for the research problems, there must be continuous literature research related with your topic also. It involves in-depth analysis and validations. Whenever you are writing any research paper or the chapters of your thesis, it needs a in-depth analysis or critical interpretations. We have already seen that there are two types of research, that is the applied research and the pure research. Pure research is the theoretical aspects of the research which is based upon the literature. There is a innovations, and when the scientific innovations are applied in our day-to-day life, this is called as applied research. We'll discuss that what are the aspects of the applied research in our Buddhist studies discipline also. So this is the research process in you research scholars has to be get involved in in-depth analysis and validation. Validations means what are the hypotheses or parikalpana or anuman which has been written in your chapters or in your research proposals. It must be tested whether it has come fruitful or not. So its outcome is to be interpreted within the data limits, but critically. Whatever you are writing based upon any literature, Pali literature, Sanskrit Buddhist literature, Japanese literature, Chinese literature, or Tibetan literature, it must be within the data what you are writing. We have already seen that a research scholar is supposed to submit his thesis within 4 years or 5 years. There is a time limit. So the quality and the quantity of the thesis or dissertations must be limited. Limited means that you have to complete within your time period. It research can be continued further. There are so many scopes of the further research in your topic also, in your research also, but it must be limited with the time, as well as it must be limited to the boundaries of the qualities also. So research also provides clear verdict on the problems. Problems which are the research problems, and for those research problems, there are some research methods through which hypothesis can be solved, or the research problems can be solved. Sometimes research process is often cumulative in nature, cumulative that you have to be very much qualitative, quantitative, or it must be multiplied in different multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary research also. Now we are going to discuss that what are the types of the research. Especially there are so many types of research in our humanities and the social science, as well as in literatures. So for the general idea, how the types of research which have been defined in our research methodology, for a brief introduction of all these things we'll discuss. Being a scholar of this studies, we are mainly concerned with the literatures related with the Pali literature, Sanskrit Buddhist literature, Chinese, Japanese, or Tibetan Buddhist literatures, which are available in different languages. So there are textual research also. The research are being done on any of the text which are available in our Pali literature or Sanskrit Buddhist literature or Tibetan Chinese or Buddhist literature. But here we are going to discuss that is the purpose of our research, and what are the types of the research which are generally available in humanism. We'll come to the aspect related with only Buddhist studies after discussing all these things. So this research is the extension or generalization of the currently available results. You will see that after going through some of the books of the scholars like G.P. Malalasekar or D.J. Kalupahana, History of Buddhist Philosophy, Theory of Knowledge, you will see that how the research problems which have been discussed in those texts also. In some of the books, you will find that the general concepts which have been analyzed and they have been given for general interpretations of the terms also. So sometimes researches are being done only for the generalizations of the currently definitions of the concepts which have been given in the books also. So here, sometimes the research is going to just a descriptive or generalizations of the concept. Sometimes the research are explanatory. Some of the questions that how, whenever we are going to take critical explanations of the terms Nibbana as in the commentarial literatures or Anupitak literatures of the Pali. So here sometimes we are going to explain, or whenever you are critical analysis of law of dependent originations available in all the literatures. So these are the regions through which the researches are being done. So there are some theories and the hypotheses and the testing them also. We have seen that what is the hypothesis and how the hypothesis is being tested at the time of the conclusion or writing the concluding chapters also. There are some of the researches which are done that descriptive nature of the concepts or the ideas. Related with this, there are some of the questions like what, where, who, and how, leading to any concepts or the definitions. Then some of the problems which are taken here, and whenever these are being described in a very general manner, this is called as descriptive research. There is another type of research which is called as comparative research. Here, comparative means that there must be two traditions like Theravada or Mahayana, or if there are two texts of two traditions like Pali literature or the Sanskrit Buddhist literature or Tibetan Buddhist literature or Japanese literatures or even in Nevari literatures. So whenever these two, two traditions are taken together for any concepts or the ideas, and, and there are some of the life history research related with the acharyas, some of the our critical examinations of the arhatas which have taken participations in the first Buddhist Council, second Buddhist Council, or third Buddhist councils, like history or life history of Mogliputra Thera, or whenever we are taking Ananda or Sariputta Moggalan. So whenever the life history related with the Buddha, Arhat, or any acharyas, then it is called as life history research. And these are based on the text, based upon the texts which are available to us. Whenever we are all discussing the life history of the Buddha, we have to take Anagatavans, Buddhavans, or on the basis of the Bhagavata, Deepavans, we can take together another things. There are research are done in social sciences, like these are called as predictive, are based upon the numerical or quantitative data, and these are based upon the numerical or sociological or anthropological study. So whenever these are like a status of neo-Buddhist in western part of Maharashtra. So whenever these are and what are the impact social, economical, political, or geographical. So when these topics are being, this is called as predictive. One can predict that this is the status of the no, I'm sorry. There are Wi-Fi problems here also. Internet is very weak also here. So next time I will try to take class in my chamber in the university itself. But here at times there are some of the problems. So we are talking about the evolution studies and what are the impact of TVs or any mobiles or the habits on the child or other society. So whenever there are evolution related with all these aspects, that what are the impacts of the socio-cultural aspect on the what are the reading habits of the childhood, how many screen times they are using on the mobiles, and when these types of psychological impact on the minds of the children, these are called as evolution study. Then next is the new improvement of the process of product or the service. Now the products are being produced by different companies, how they are improved and how they are increased in the markets. For that, there based on the analytical study, there are some of the analysts which who are discussing all these things in that. Again, now we are going to discuss about the impact assessment study, and these are being done researches on sponsored by any government agencies like UNO, United Nations organizations, or the branches of UNO like UNESCO or even government of India. There are so many ministries which are conducting research related with the economic, demographic, physical, community, social, or environmental, or any state government which is also for the sake of improvement of the people living standard, they are making researches. So whenever they are conducting research economic government of there are analysis economic status of the country or the state can be improved, and these are mainly related with the BJ employment and values also. Effects are which can be developed. These are being sponsored by mainly government agencies. So these are one of the types of the research which are being undertaken. Whenever the research is based upon the populations, there are so many subjects in the universities also, population studies or demographic studies, how the people of any particular area, they are developing or they are decreasing in their living standard. So whenever the sex ratio, whether the male or the female people are increasing or decreasing, what is the age structure of the getting marriage, how there is a impact of the children on the society. So whenever there are demographic researches based upon the populations, this is also being sponsored by mainly government agencies or the university departments. There are some of the researches which are done related with the land revenue or tax, which are the property tax, custom tax, or sale tax. So how these can be undertaken, how the government, state government, or the government of any country can improve their conditions. So generally researches are being done that how the land revenue can be developed, how the taxes are being increased. So these are some of the researches which are done related with that. Whenever the researches which are mainly housing, education, and transport. This is also related with our all government and any state government or government of any country can be taken. That how the housing status of the people can be developed, how houses can be given to the lower strata of the people, how the standard of the educations can be improved, how in the city and the villages they can get how the scholarships or the fellowships for the poor people can be given are called as community development. How the transport related with the road or road transport or the buses can be given for the living standard of the people. Whenever we are talking about society of the any state or the country regarding the our displacement, how the people are moving from one place to another place for the sake of employment, how what are the activities of the people, how the peoples who are not employed, how they can be given employment. If they are not getting employment, there is a development of the crime and the punishments also. So in that way, the researches are being undertaken by any state government or the country government. Whenever for the improvement of the quality of the air, quality of the water, and the noise pollutions, the researches are being taken. These are mainly our researches related with the environment. We are quite aware that man, nature, and environment, these three are causally related with each other. Every is dependent on another thing. Man is dependent on plants and animals, and the plants and animals are also dependent on the human beings. Mans are also causally related with the nature and the environment, and the environment and the nature are causally related with our man also. So these are how the quality of the air, air pollutions can be removed, how the proper sanitations or the water to all the village people or the city people can be given. So these are some of the aspects which are being taken, and these researches are coming under like impact assessment study, which are being undertaken by any agencies of the government or any international organizations. There are other aspects of the research also which are being undertaken, and they are called as online e-research. Now there are e-research which are collaborative also. They are interdisciplinary also, from multidisciplinary also. So these are some of the aspects which have come since 4 or 5 years, how the researches are being undertaken. So this online or e-research, the use of research methods to study different aspects of the internet. Now people are taking help of the internet for raising research problems in their research courses, how the research questions can be developed. All the books are not available in the libraries of the university or any proper place. But through online, people are gathering collecting their research materials which are very far away. So these are helpful in making the research problems related with the research topic. There are some of the universities which are undertaking collaborative research. A university on a different, a particular subject is taking help of the another expert of the another university, and in that way it is called as collaborative research. When the two institutions or the two universities are making researches on a very given project or any topic, this is called as collaborative research. There is another research which are online survey or interviewing, online focus groups, and a virtual ethnography. Ethnography generally are anthropological or sociological studies which are being done, and through online questions which are given or questionnaires which are being developed, or they are prepared and they are given to different people, and based upon those questionnaires, the outcomes comes for a particular group. So this is also a kind of the e-research also. There are so many social science subjects like our psychology, sociology, political science, international relations, which are conducting this e-online research, which are available. I have given some of the our website or web link, so anyone can go through that. And now research, and besides these topics, there are other topics related with the Pali or Buddhist studies. We'll discuss just after that. Here, a research scholar must be inquisitiveness. That how the now we are going to discuss that how research problems can be developed after going through the research materials or the literatures available on a particular subject. The researcher must have inquisitiveness to know what is happening in our day-to-day life, how the events are taking place. There must be curiosity to know that what is happening, how it is happening. The scholars like Archimedes or any scientist, they have inquisitiveness to know that how the things are happening our day-to-day life. As a student of Buddhist studies, we must and we are knowing that there is a law of dependent originations, which says that there is no self-independent entity. Everything comes into existence dependent on some cause and conditions. Whatever things which are happening in our day-to-day life, they are based upon any cause and effect. And both these two events are causally related with each other. We have seen that the law of dependent originations, Pratitya Samutpad in Sanskrit, in Pali, Patis Samutpad, how the two links are causally related, how Avijja is causally related with the Sankharas, how Sankharas are causally related with the Beyond is causally related with the Nam Rup. So these are the relations. What is the things, how the events which are taking place, the whole process of existence is dependent on three life events, that is the past, present, and the future. Atit, Pachupan, and Anagat. So these relations, how the things are happening, there must be inquisitiveness, there must be curiosity to know the things, what, how, when these are happening, and there must be tendency to know, there must be curiosity to know the things. In that way, we can raise some of the questions. Third is that to generalize the available results. Whenever some of the results which have been undertaken or which have come through our previous scholars, whenever you are making which are not clear to our common readers, common people, when you are going to generalize for the sake of the reader's understanding, then this is called as a generalizing the general results. Whenever any research scholar is dissatisfied with the results of our previous acharyas or the scholars which who which have been undertaken by our previous scholars, then based upon those results, the research problems can be undertaken, and there must be hypothesis that how you are going to solve those problems. Then there is a starting point of knowing the things that how I have to raise the questions and to test an unorthodox idea. Buddhism also believes that everything is dependent on some cause and conditions. Buddha also says that do not accept the things, whatever it comes to you by the acharyas for the sake of heresy or by listening of anything. Do not accept. You test it from the teachings of the Buddha or whatever from the original sources, you test it or investigate it, then you can accept it. So here to test an unorthodox idea, orthodox Buddhism does not believe in the Almighty God. So you have to test it through the cause and effect, how the events or the things are undertaking in our day-to-day life. So this is a how the ideas which are coming in your mind, how the questions are arising out of a box, how the things are coming into your mind, how the problems related with your research is coming in your mind. So this is the how you are thinking, how the idea for the sake of there is uh, a kernel in the philosophical investigation which can be understood by this example, that how an elephant can be understood by the six persons who are blind. The of observing that elephant, every kind of person is giving the result in a different manner. So in that way, the people are saying that how the multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary research are being done. If the ideas of the six persons can be undertaken together, then there must be outcome of a particular thing. So in that way, research can be nowadays taken multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary. So now there is a need of that how interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary researches are being undertaken by the institutions, by the research scholars also. So here you can analyze that how a person who is touching the tail of the elephant, he is saying in a different manner. One who is touching the feet of the elephant, he says that it is just like a banana tree or whenever any trunk which is being taken. So these are the different interpretations. But when all these persons are taking together, then there must be an real outcome of the research also. So what are the ideas nowadays in our field of humanities and social science? In our Buddhist studies nowadays, people are taking interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary researches which are being done when the parallel subjects, suppose a person who is a psychology, he has a good grounding of the psychology related with the our mind, study of the mind, then he can undertake the researches related with the that how the concept of the mind which has been discussed in the Pali literature or Sanskrit Buddhist literature and other literatures also, how this can be undertaken, how the things are being cognized, how the objects are being known by our mind. When these are being undertaken as a interdisciplinary research, this is called as, so there are some of the things which have been given multidisciplinary research. So here you will see that there are D1, D2, D3. when there are three subjects which are taken and from the feedbacks or from the uh, observations of the three disciplines when they are undertaken, then there is a outcome or the result of the research also. Whenever there are disciplines which are boundaries, that is called as transdisciplinary research, when they are being done in the three subjects, then there is a research which is being done based upon that. Again, whenever there are disciplines which are interdisciplines like humanities, social sciences, as well as literatures. So there are three subjects, they are interrelated with each other, and then researches are being done. Then this is called as interdisciplinary research. So here now we are coming that what are the subjects which are undertaken for the students who are registered for the Buddhist studies or Pali subject. So some of the things which we are going to discuss here. In the Madhyam Nikaya, there is a sutta which is called as Arya Pariyasena Sutta. In Arya Pariyasena Sutta, Buddha says that how one can understand the Four Noble Truth, how can he understand that there is a suffering, there is a cause of suffering, there is a cessation of suffering, and there is a path which leads toward the cessation of suffering. This Arya Pariyasena Sutta, which is very deep, profound teachings of the Buddha, where there are some of the interpretations which have been given to understand the teachings of the Buddha. Kachan has composed the text Nityapakarana, and in Nityapakarana there are 16 haras also. And out of the 16 haras, there are Desna har, or how to understand the teachings of the Buddha. There are 16 methods through which the teachings of the Buddha can be understood also. Buddhism has two aspects, Pariyatti and the Patipatti. In Pariyatti, there are the teachings of the Buddha which are available in theoretical aspects, available in our Pali literature, available in Vinay Pitak, Suta Pitak, Abhidhamma Pitak, as well as commentaries on the Tipitaka. So this is the, and if you, Buddha is also called as a great physician, great scientist also. He was a scientific investigator. He was in the search of the truth also. He left his house for the search of that how a test of bliss or vimutti, a path of freedom can be under, achieved. For that he left. And how this vimutti, Buddha also says that yathapi ek raso lon raso evam amahakam dhamma vinay ek raso vimutti raso, that all the teachings of the Buddha have only one flavor, that is the flavor of the freedom also. Just like the great ocean has only one taste, that is called as a salty taste. So in that way, Buddha is also called as a great physician or great scientist also. He has given a path through which a person can get a state of eternal bliss or nibbana, or he can get a state of vimutti, that is the freedom. Again, Buddhism has thus followed many researches from the very beginning. And from the very beginning means just when he left his house, how we see that he has also taken a path of yoga. And his two teachers, Alar Kalam and Uddakaram Putta, they were great follower of the yoga from Uddakaram and Alar Kalam. He learned how the Rupa Samadhi and Arup Samadhi can be achieved. There is a great descriptions that how Buddha has got the Rup Samadhi and Arup Samadhi. And after that, how a state of eternal bliss can be achieved. These are descriptions which are available in our text also. The Pali word for the research, there are so many words of the research which are etymologically or equivalent terms related with the research are available in our Pali. In especially Arya Sutta, we are having a text, there is a how this research is available there. And in a separate class, we'll discuss that how many terms which are available in our Pali text as well as in some of the Sanskrit Buddhist text also. Here I am just leaving, and enough scope exists for the conduct of useful researches in this field also, in Pali research. Here there are so many subjects if you go through that how the Pali language and literatures, the subjects related with the language, literature, religion, philosophy, the trainings are being conducted by a research scholar. Whenever we are talking about the language, Pali language, there are so many aspects related with the grammar, Pali grammar, Kachan Vyakaran, Moglan Vyakaran, Saddiniti Vyakaran. These three are available, although two other Vyakaran or grammar like Bodhisattva Vyakaran or Gunakar Vyakaran, there are two others, but these are not available. So there are so many commentaries which have been written on the grammar also. So there are so many aspects related with the grammar also. Aesthetics, how the nature and the beauty can be studied. There are so many descriptions of the nature in our Therigatha, in some of the suttas available in the Dignikai. We are having that how the nature has been depicted in our suttas, how Buddha is talking about the nature and the environment. There are some of the researches which are already done on the aesthetics, how the alankar, chand, they can be undertaken under this category. So there are some of the changes which are taking places, how the things are changing, how the comparative study related with the Kachan Vyakaran, Moglan Vyakaran, and how there are changes of the verbs or the dhatus or the other things, gunas, which are taking place in grammar, they can be undertaken also. Again, whenever we are talking about the literature, related with the Pali literature, there are so many subjects like author, style, prose, poetry, art, manuscript, icons, and comparisons. There are so many authors on the of the commentaries, of the sub-commentaries, Tika, Anutika, Atkatha. There are so many acharyas who have written from the time of Anupitaka Sahitya like Milind Panyo, Petkopadesh, and Milind Panyo, Petkopadesh, and there are three Milind Panyo, Petkopadesh, and these three are called Anupitaka Sahitya or Anupitaka literature of Pali literatures. There are other commentaries which are available from the time of the Acharya Buddha Ghosh to Buddhadatta, Dhammapal, and later on also there are so many commentaries which have been written in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand. So these are some of the topics which can be taken. What are the style of writing of the Pali text we can undertake for those research also. And the prose and the poetry, there are Deepavans and Mahavans, which are the very basic text. But later on, there are so many texts which are available on in the prose and the poetry also we can take undertake for our research also. So I am not going to discuss all these things in a very detailed manner, otherwise it will take more time. So these are some of the subjects which can be undertaken for the religion also. You see, related with the concept, principle, rule, order, comparison. These can be undertaken for the philosophical aspects in the case of the Pali literature discipline. A person can take related with the notion or the concept related with the ethics and the changes, how the concepts are changing from time to time, and a comparative study can be also undertaken. Whenever we are talking about the trainings, there are three things trainings, that is the Sikha. In Pali, it is called as Adhisil, Adhichit, and Adhipanya. These are the three things which are called as the trainings. In Pali, it is called as a Tisso Sikha, that is the three trainings. In a general sense, it is called as Seal, Samadhi, and Panya. And related with these topics, the study related with the monk, expert, and the common people can be undertaken for that. And whenever we are talking about the politics, we see that governance, law, administrations, and the comparison. Kutadanta Sutta, Aganya Sutta, Mahaparinibbana Sutta, we are having, which are talking about the governance, law, and the administrations, human rights, other things they have been explained in by the Buddha, and which are available in the Pali Suttas also. And there are some of the topics related with the social acts that Buddhism was also considered as a teachings of the Buddha related with the social justice. And whenever we are talking about the social acts, there are the three things, ritual, festivals, and transactions. These three subjects are coming under the social activism or social actions. Related with the science, medical science, there are so many things which are taken, concepts, theory, method, and comparison. And whenever how the things are applied in our day-to-day life, there is a text in Pali which is called as Bhesaj Manjusa, and which depicts related with the diseases and the medicines. In the Vinay Pitaka Chulbagga, there is a chapter which discusses, and in Mahabagga also, there is a Bhesaj Khandhaka which discusses about the medicines which were used by the Buddha. There are some of the aspects related with the thus Raj Dharma, how the finances can be undertaken by a royal king, and how the travels, the Buddhacharika and others, how the organizations of the Sangha can be undertaken. So these are some of the aspects which are undertaken by our research. So these are the subjects, and I was talking about there are two aspects of research in Buddhism, or in the subject discipline Buddhist studies. There are theoretical aspects which are called as a pure research. There are another aspect which is called as applied research, or they are also called as engaged Buddhism. Engaged Buddhism is nothing but how the teachings of the Buddha are applied in our day-to-day life, how the applications of the teachings of the Buddha can be undertaken by a person for the sake of bringing social harmony and other things. They are coming under the applied research. Under the theoretical aspects, which is called as pure research, they are mainly based upon the text available in the Pali literature, or Sanskrit Buddhist literature, or Tibetan, Chinese, or Japanese literature, and the aspects related with the ethical, philosophical, and religious aspects. These are subjects which are coming under the pure research of the Buddhist studies, or the subject Buddhism. When we are talking about the Pali literature, there are two main divisions of the Pali literature, that is the canonical and non-canonical. whenever we are talking about the canonical, there are only three Pitakas: Vinay Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. Vinay Pitaka is the collections of the teachings of the Buddha which are related with the monastic rules and regulations. For the there are 227 rules for the monks and there are 311 rules for the nuns. Undertaken, they are called as Vinay Pitaka. And Pitaka, the popular discourse of the teachings of the Buddha are compiled in the five Nikayas, namely Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Sanjukta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, and Khuddaka Nikaya. And in Abhidhamma Pitaka, which is called as a philosophical teachings of the Buddha, they are more profound teachings of the Buddha. They are compiled in the seven texts, namely Dhammasangani, Vibhanga, Dhatu Katha, Kathavathu, Yamak, and Patthana. There are seven texts. So whenever the topics, religious ethics, or philosophical aspects are undertaken with these three, they are called as canonical and non-canonical. That is the Anupitaka Sahitya, Nityapakaran, Petkopadesh, Milinda Pahiyo, and other the commentaries which are written on on the text of Vinay Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. They are called as non-canonical literatures. Even the Bansa literature, narrative literatures, and discourses from the Buddha's life, like Anagata Vansa and other teachings of the Buddha, they are written by the Acharyas after the Mahaparinibbana of the Buddha. They are also compiled in non-canonical categories. So researches can be undertaken in Pali literature in two aspects, canonical and non-canonical. In the next class, we will discuss about the details of the subjects which are taken in the Pali canonical and non-canonical literatures. And after that, we will come to our Sanskrit Buddhist literature so that a broad idea can be understood that what are the subjects which can be undertaken. If you have any questions related with this, you can ask. The time is coming. So if anyone has any question.
Thank you, Professor, for a wonderful lecture.
I have one question.
Thank you very much. So if you if you have question, you can ask.
Yes,
Otherwise,
you
one question, please, sir. You have discussed
yes.
already so far. Anyway, if it is regarding the hypothesis, when we make a hypothesis, then the result will come. If the result come against our hypothesis, then what will we do in that case, sir?
Now we have to change our hypothesis again.
Yeah.
If it is not tested in the right manner, we have to change our hypothesis. Otherwise, our result will be different. So we have to change our hypothesis if it does not tested to our conclusion part or the finding parts of our thesis also. We have to see that what are the research problems. Research problems are, on the basis of the research problems, we are testing our validity. And if it comes true, then it is okay. Otherwise, we have to change our hypothesis also. At the end of our thesis also.
Sometimes our hypothesis
what are the main objectives?
Sometimes our hypothesis may guide us. Yeah, sometimes our hypothesis may be a biasness of our study, maybe.
No, so we must not be any biasness related to our research. we whatever on the basis of the literature or the data collections. If it is coming true, then it is okay. Otherwise, we have to change our hypothesis.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So a researcher must not be any biasness. There not be any statement related with any orthodox or any biasness. A researcher must be free in writing based upon the written results. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Any another question if you have?
No, thank you, sir.
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
So okay, if you have any question, you can note down, or otherwise you can meet day after tomorrow. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
next time we will see. On
Yes, thank you,
on
sir.
Tuesday we'll meet together again.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.